Damien, have you got a question? You're a man of words and letters. Let's just grab Damien. What's the magazine you edit again? What is it?
Motorsport.
That's the green one.
That's the green one, yeah.
The expensive one.
It's quite expensive, yeah.
Top shelf.
It's very old as well.
Yes, it's long established. Damien, any of this lot you want to ask a question of? Because you're sitting beside Tony Jardine tomorrow. A nice, sedate run in the countryside. You'll have time for spectating, sightseeing, and getting your own back in the seagulls. Any questions for our stars?
Well, it's the one chance that I get to talk, and he doesn't, which doesn't happen very often, so that'll be good. Chris, WRC or IRC for next year, what would you prefer?
I definitely, for me, next year it'll be IRC. As said recently, the rallies there are an absolute pleasure to do. It's a breath of fresh air. They've created the adventure element, as Tony said earlier. They've taken the prestige events away from the World Rally Championship, Monte Carlo, San Remo. Next year they'll have Argentina in as well, Brazil. Incredible championship. It's shaping up the calendar even to look at. Looks a better calendar than the World Rally Championship. They're heading to new events like Bulgaria, and to be honest, yes, they're emerging markets, but the front running series needs the traditional events and kept there. But for me, it's an absolute pleasure. Next year, San Remo will run one day in Tuscany on the gravel and back to San Remo for 2 days on tarmac. So everybody, it's putting hair up in the back of everybody's neck even thinking about it. So for me, definitely IRC.
Have you got a favourite event, Jim? I mean, you've competed all over the world as well, although not World Championship.
I did San Remo once when it was gravel, when it was split gravel and tarmac, and although we retired early on, we did the full recce, and it was something different, completely different, and it was, an event I was sorry that we retired on with an engine problem, and I think for that to come back in that. Format, I think it's good. I mean, this is what the World Rally Championship have thrown out. They've got to have their central service and their 3 stages done twice each day. I mean, it's boring, and I think it's good that they're coming back in with these events. I think it's fantastic for rallying. Do
you like this central servicing idea, or would you rather the wagon following you?
I don't think we can go back to what it used to be, where a works team had to have 12 vans to leapfrog and things like that. But I think they could come and go a bit, and have remote servicing, or in some cases maybe servicing out an estate car or something. But this miles out to do 3 stages and miles back, then back and do the same 3 again.
What sort of format are the rallies like in the States, Ken? Is it 1-day events you do, 2-day events?
Mostly 2-day events, average 100 to 150 miles. So it's a good national championship. It's 9 events across the whole country. So I was really surprised when I got into the sport in the U.S. how many really good high-quality events that we have in the States. And it's very good roads and a pretty tight championship when there's a good level of contenders.
And how many events do you do a year?
I average about 14 to 15 because we don't have any 2-pass recce events in the States in our championship. So I go up to Canada and run a couple events there or do a couple other regional events just to get that experience.
And where does the X Games fit into all this? We've all seen the footage.
The X Games is just a great event that ESPN does to get action sports on TV, and they adopted X Games. They adopted rally and do it a few years ago, and it's just been a great way for us to expose rally to the American consumer.
Has that generated more interest in rallying?
Yeah, genuinely it has. And there's actually been a recent survey that was put out by ESPN that actually showed rally as the most sought-after event of the X Games for people to show up and watch. So it shows that it's something that's growing in the States. Has a long ways to go, but at least we're making strides.
Maybe you should hire Tony Jardine. He could sell sand to the Arabs.
One of the things, just talking about the format and the States, there was one I used to watch when I was over there called The Press On Regardless.
But that was...
but it also came into Michigan as well at the top, and Gene Henderson won it. He was a cop actually, and he won it in a 4-wheel drive Jeep. But the point is, the common thing about rallying is that it is the people's motorsport, and it goes to the people. And part of the reason for its decline, as Jim was saying, is if it's caged in and it can only go there and can only go there, and then the spectators can only go in this small radius or whatever, then we've got an issue. That's where IRC is also working, and it's helping things. And it's the same that what we forget is Peugeot are in it to sell cars. And the fans are all watching the cars, whether it's Ken's Subaru or you know, or the Peugeot or whatever. It's aspirational, and they can recognise it as the car that is on the road. Not like Formula One. I've worked in Formula One for 30 years, managed the teams, been in drawing offices, and I am bored shitless by Formula One because it's so political. It's a difficult environment to work in, and they can't understand the camaraderie of rallying. They can't understand the great feeling. They can't understand the adventure. I mean, just I haven't been to these stages before. You know, we've listened to Jim, and he's been putting the willies up me as usual. But we don't want to talk about that. And we're full of trepidation about tomorrow and excitement and so on and so forth. And the rallying goes around the country to where the people are, and that's how it is, and that's how it'll be in Argentina next year. And there'll be thousands out there. In San Remo, we used to have, you know, 20,000 people on the stage, and you'd go up in the hills at night and wait, and there were 9 deep. The atmosphere was electric, absolutely electric. It's coming back, it's getting back to where it is, but we've got to keep it as safe as we can at the same time, and that's part of the problem. And talking of the people, one of the people's great drivers, I think we should say cheers to Penty as well, shouldn't we? All of us around there tonight. So there we are.
Ken, you and I are good friends now. We've known each other since last year. Now, I want you to be honest with us. We'd all like to know this. And don't be shy. But we all saw the Top Gear footage out there tonight. We all saw the near misses and the narrow slides and the small gaps. How many takes did you do it? How many times did you hit a plane or slide off or hit a barrier? Come on, you're amongst friends. We won't tell too many people after tonight. Was that all one take?
I wish it was all one take, but you know, actually most of those were 2 to 5 takes.
Really?
Yeah.
You had James May strapped in a car for 5 days. Could you not keep him?
Honestly, a lot of that stuff in that particular piece was fairly easy, I thought.
I think it's fair to say I don't mind doing 5 or 6 takes of doing the slides, but one take would be enough of the jump, I would say. If you go for a second take of the jump, you're in bother, I think.
Actually, the jump was really easy.
It's a straight line.
I tried to have that jump at the Baja 300 thing, but the organizer said that you guys wouldn't go over it.
No, we had about 400 horsepower less than you can, so it wasn't going to be a.
No, but honestly, that shoot with Top Gear was really fun. I had a good time doing it. A lot of the stuff in that video was actually pretty easy, and it was so hot. It was 105 or 110 degrees out in the desert, and the car kept overheating. Right. And so we had to keep dealing with reshooting some of the stuff. But the Gymkhana videos that I've shot are actually a lot more difficult to do with the car than that video. With the rally car, gravel tires, you know, you drive a gravel tires on tarmac, it's actually pretty easy to control and move around. And it was a lot of fun working with those guys.
How much practice do you do, you know, between events, between demonstrations?
That is my practice.
Are you not out in the car 2 or 3 times a week?
I wish.
No.
I wish, you know, that's the unfortunate thing about rally is it's such an expensive sport that a lot of the budget is just eaten up by doing the events themselves.
But you're a rich man now. You sell overpriced shoes. And they're all queuing up to buy the rascals.
I don't own that company anymore. I'm too busy out here doing this stuff.
Just talking about what Ken was doing, it was really something out there tonight, just seeing that wee mini rolling out of the box in the Corgi marquee, was it not, Jim?
Aye, it was actually, yeah. I mean, that's came well because the Corgi are doing the mini. We decided to try and put something together for that. But I mean, I think he did a fantastic job because that's a bog standard 1000cc 45 brake horsepower mini. So he did very well.
Is Gordon Clendenning in here just now? Where is he? There he is. Cheers, folks. Give Gordon a round of applause. It was a fabulous demonstration, wasn't it?
I just heard how there'd been a misfire on it since we got it, and I just heard how he cured it tonight.
Typical rally excuse.
They've
Stepped out the
they've
car.
changed plugs and they've changed points. I don't know that anybody knows what points are, but they've changed everything.
Oh.
And he pulled the choke half out tonight, and it went to get another free brake horsepower.
Oh, I thought he was putting his handbag on it.